April 2025, the 30th, and then the 1st May. We are about to call this press conference to order. And before we start, we want to call the presence of God to have a silent minute prayer, prayer, so that we can invite the presence of God in our midst. Amen, amen. My name is Abubakar Sila, Acting Deputy Director of Policy Planning Research in the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, and also the lead coordinator for the National Labour Conference 2025. Here, I have the Commissioner of Labour, Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, Mr. Sinebo Kari, who will be the lead facilitator of this conference. We also have Brother Max Conte from the Sierra Labour Congress, who is the Executive Secretary to that Congress. We also have Brother Kokobe, who is an executive member of the Sierra Leone Employers Federation, is also here. And we have Antiema Thompson, who is the media lead for the NLC, as is the National Labour Conference 2025. And we have the Honorable Minister, Mr. Mohamed Rahman Souare, who is the visionary, the leader behind this entire process. And so you see we have a mix of players from these institutions. It's because it's a collaborative effort from the ministry and its key partners. We will give you a detail as we proceed, but basically this conference is being called by the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security in collaboration with its key partners, i.e. Sierra Leone Employers Federation and Sierra Leone Labour Congress. I hand over the mic to my boss, the Acting Commissioner of Labour, to take you through.
Good morning, Freetown. Good morning, Salon. And NSI, you watch me, and NSI, you listen to me. This is the press conference organized by the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security and the partner, Salon Labour Congress and the Salon Employers Federation. Family, you remember, say, the ministry, they come up with the first ever National Labour Conference and made the celebration. Mr. Sila already don't say, we get the big one, then we can talk to it and give you all the information that we need concerning the media celebration and the National Labour Conference. On that note, I want to welcome all the media outlets, the bloggers, the traditional media outlets, and I want to say plenty thank you for we on all come for grace this press conference. We will get time for statement, and but before that, we want to give an overview as to what's in the conference debate. And family members say this is not history, this is new, and this is something will not ever happen in the history of this country and the ministry as well. So now a unique initiative, and I want to appreciate also the minister who gets in the house, Mohamed Rahman Souare, for such a unique initiative. And aside that, I will want to call on again the lead coordinator, Mr. Abubakar Sila, will give you an overview as to what's in the conference debate.
Okay, thank you very much, Acting Commissioner of Labour, Mr. Sinebo Kari. The National Labour Conference 2025 gets plenty things with it. I get plenty activities related to them. And one of them, a media engagement, which we did also. For let the public know, say, the ministry and the partner, they are about to organize the first ever National Labour Conference. Because we want to let the people of Sierra Leone own this. We want all walks of life for start for celebrate labor. And let me start for discuss the issues that affect employment in Salon. So the National Labour Conference, a conference where they bring together sharp minds all over this country and from abroad for let me discuss on the future of work. What they affect we currently and going forward, what do they envisage say will affect we will make we get serious unemployment, or we get to young people who are not able to attach to serious employment. So now we get innovation, we get technology, and with innovation and technology, you get issues of transition for move from a manual to digital. And with that, some people can lose job. With that, some people can become traumatized. With that, you get plenty things where they carry it. So we say, if we move as a nation, as people, from manual to digital, the transition make it be fair, the transition make it be just. So the conference therefore focus on the area there. So they say shaping the future of work. We don't say we don't get plenty things we get for do technological transformation, will they affect the world of work. Some of the lost job as a result of that. So now we want to prepare the mind. We want to prepare institutions, government as well as private, training institutions. How, as people, as government, we go discuss among we frankly and see how we go tackle the challenges of now and tomorrow with respect to digitalization, with respect to technological transformation, with respect to the very transition we will take place from manual to digital environment. Mind you, Sierra Leone are part of the global community. And as we said, in the ECOWAS region, the countries like Ghana, Nigeria, don't they make progress? We always catch up. So it's high time we get to young people then. We need for put them to the wheel. And we need for create that environment. But how we need for create the environment? We need for discourse, frankly, as to how we want for tackle the challenges there. So how we want for prepare workforce going forward. So we will get less unemployment. So now the program line up like this. We get the 29th. We're not almost a closed door. But we get to do mainly with government institutions and with key social partners, Sierra Leone Employers Federation and Sierra Leone Labour Congress. Why we target the key partners? They get issues there. For example, Sierra Leone Employers Federation get employers them, we associate with them, and they get issues there with them, they raise at the small corners them, at the meetings they get with them. Sierra Leone Labour Congress, same way so not the same thing. Then they get issues and series of issues, then they represent the command them. So now, the 29, they don't submit to we, what we call issues paper, then concerns them. They don't put them forward to we. And we serve as government, we consult with the various stakeholders inside government, with particular for the issues that we then raise. So the 29th, we go discuss the issues and we then flag up. So the resolution we go publish her. So the people of this country will know what we discuss between government and the partners there. We now Sierra Leone Labour Congress, and Sierra Leone Employers Federation, where they represent the employers, as well as the command them. Mind you, Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security, we the middle. So basically, now the format standing for the 29th. And then the 30th, we now the main event. We get all this Because mind you, before now, we get what we call the May Day celebration. We now International Labour Day. Always we don't celebrate an end salon, we thank God a public holiday. But to me, don't celebrate them in a way we deserve. We need for get the right ambience. So the social dialogue na a prelude to that celebration day. And then the conference also na in support of the May Day celebration. We want for get the relevance we need. Okay, so the 30th, we get series of topics, key topics we center around what time we don't discuss first. How we for prepare workforce for facing the current and future challenges. So we get series of topics. One gets for do it. How we go align with educational system to the labor market demands is very key. Not over just train for train sake, but one for make sure say we do the right training. We go make them young man there. If nobody no employ them, then we aim for create job for themselves. Then we for employ others. We want for create employers rather than job seekers. So this first topic, they bring down sharp minds and for let them discuss frankly. And let me see what we will do as people, as a nation, as government for tackle our challenge there. That topic they will be very interesting. And mind you, we get other topics there, like for example, collaborative efforts for job creation. We get to look into series of things and labor migration, volunteerism, and the like entrepreneurship. Look, government alone not will create the 500,000 jobs where the president don't pronounce. That ambitious project for the government, it means say all players will come on board. So that topic they get for look how other players will support government in vision. Government institution, private entities, the universities, the training, vocational institutes, what we go do for support government in vision, because it's very key. A pertinent to we all. And then we also go look at the labor laws with respect to the new forms of work. You get people now, they work remotely. For some of them, they now not even go to the offices or so they operate. They're because the world of work don't change. So we lost the need for match up to waiting the world of work they look like. Because the world of work involving environment. And environment is not ever static. And so same way, so the ministry and the partners for always stay in the position for develop robust policies, update the laws for make sure so they match up to the evolving environment where they take place and work. Please. So you get topic we get for look into that. You get topic we get for look into women in the digital world. Waiting at the role of women. How much women do we get? How they know they penetrate the environment? They not left here for far too long with the income people we go discuss. And mind you, Sierra Leone, a part of the International Labour Organization, every year we go to the ILC, we go discuss. Whenever they discuss as a nation, they will bring up issues. Here, what they take to the International Labour Organization for saying, you know, we have factor this, part of the conventions we have developed, we have factor this, part of the resolution of the ILO. Whenever they do, well, this conference will give you that leverage thing because the resolutions of the social dialogue, the resolutions, the issues we will come up from the conference, we will put them together, and the delegation where they go to ILO, we will take that one day forward as we point of discussions with the ILO. So if we then have different committees, each and every member of the delegation will be equipped with the discourse we will put forward to the ILO. So this conference is serve as a platform where the ministry and the partner will use for actually sell that the international community waiting we self don't do. And mind you, the Ministry of Labour always have people that don't tell the story. We know ever they tell the story. We want for use this conference for celebrate we self. We want for join with partners for celebrate waiting labor don't they do. Now all now will command them, but not only celebrate now. We all now will command them, but not only celebrate we self. So now the Ministry of Labour want for telling you story. And we rely on all for sell with story because we are part of the labor force. We rely on heavily for sell this conference to the wider populace, whether the person get chance for attend or not. But for no for say this conference get something for do within life because NIB, it no matter the corner we did, whether in one small village you do something for gain income, you do something for let you for live, you get thing for eat. So now labor, why should you do something for let get you and to mod? That is work. Okay, so this conference get for center around and this. You get in topics there, you get the facilitators, you get the panelists, them. Interesting topics like AI and waiting salon will benefit from them. We get a whole presentation that one day. How we going to put them as a center focus for this country because we no need for joke. Now we don't come so small. We don't know how you get forward, expand and change the world of work because don't they change already. But let we not left behind. So a whole presentation we get for the under one day. They emphasize on this digital aspect because the theme for this conference now shaping the future of work with respect to innovation, digital transformation, and just transition in the middle of all the way to the top. Then we go to the last day. We are the midday. The day actually we want for celebrate. We want for celebrate this day in style. And make it get all them make there before the reach day. Mind you, you know, say we want for young woman. You know, you greet and first, make nice. You know, let fall for you, being watching from up to down, you make that sweet boy, even if you not be sweet boy. So, before we get the immediate celebration, all of that you do a sweet boy business. And then finally we hand the baby now. You know what I mean? For like get no difficult, you must get your answer. Once you fall, you know, because you don't spend, you know what I mean? You don't buy top up, you don't go to a restaurant, all that stuff then. So, the immediate celebration. This immediate celebration will bring together people we don't work, employers we don't employ people, and we celebrate, we joy together. But in the sideline of all of this, what important thing we need for know, we will get business expo. Businesses and will get the opportunity for showcasing services and products because this is very important. Then also as employers, we want to let them benefit from this. And then when they look for job, they will also get the opportunity for meet them people and network, build and social capital, and so we create a platform for everybody. We also get entertainment at the sideline. We don't have to look too formal and too boring. We want the ambience always supposed to forget they get them. Because Sierra Leone, we are happy people. And we need for sure by celebrating labor. So the 1st of May at the International Workers' Day, we then normally call May Day. So then the climax, everything. Then a net. This are strictly by invitation. But we need for know as media people because we not segment for Didi. We get what we call Labor Awards. These are the first of its kind. I want to clap for the Honorable Minister. Because it not ever happen. Not only the conference new and a new initiative, but also some of the things that we carry it. You know what I mean? For some people who work for 30, 40 years, dedicatedly, nobody no ever recognize them. Nobody no ever point finger upon and say, hey, that might don't try. No. So we want to recognize both institutions for make sure say not all the time no more we go meet and tell and say, you don't comply with X, you don't comply with Y. You don't comply with this law, you don't no. It's high time we self start to appreciate the one the way they comply. So the one they know they comply, we'll see reason why they for comply. And then individual, we don't give all in time, all in best, or don't come up with initiatives. We don't promote the world of work. We want to recognize them. And then people we will call them, then we graciously recognize and honor their dedication to service. We will cut across various walks of life, from that don't volunteer ordinarily to that don't depend labor advocacy for all years, and plenty other things. So basically, this are the full picture of what we expect as a package for the National Labour Conference. Now, I will rest my case. So now, thank you plenty for now listening to me.
Plenty, thank you, Abubakar Sila, for that rundown. The family, if you still watch me and listen to me, this now the press conference with the Ministry of Employment organized with a partner them for telling you about the May Day celebration. And on that note, we have to take a few statements, and I will start with we partner all the way from the Sierra Leone Employers Federation, Mr. Kokobe.
Good morning, Honorable Minister of Labor and Social Security, distinguished guests, social partners, private sector leaders present here today, colleagues and friends. On behalf of the Sierra Leone Employers Federation, I'm honored to join the Ministry of Labor and Social Security at this year's National Labour Conference, a space where ideas meet actions and where partnerships shape the future we envision for our workforce and our economy. The theme, shaping the future of work, is not only timely, but it is urgent. The future of work is already unfolding around us. Digital transformation, climate change, global competition, evolving societal expectations are rapidly changing the labor landscape. As employers, we must not only respond to these shifts, we must lead with purpose. We must lead with purpose, innovation, and inclusion. At SLEF, we believe that the future of work must work for everyone. It must be human-centered, inclusive, and sustainable. This means we need to create systems where businesses can thrive while ensuring that workers are protected, skilled, and valued. To shape this future, we must invest in skills development. Employers must collaborate with government and training institutions to design programs that align with market needs, equipping young people, especially women and girls, with 21st century skills. Promote decent work and inclusion. We must break down barriers and exclude women, persons with disability, and vulnerable populations from full participation in the workforce. The future of work must be diverse and equitable. Support innovation while upholding labor standards. As new forms of work emerge, such as gig and platform work, we must adapt. We must adapt policies that both encourage entrepreneurship and protect workers' rights. Champion social dialogue. Employers, workers, and government must continue engaging in meaningful dialogue to design labor market policies that reflect our national development goals and international labor standards. Strengthening public-private partnership. The future of work cannot be shaped in silence. The private sector must be a key partner in employment creation, economic diversification, and sustainable growth. At SLEF, we are committed to supporting employers across all sectors, from small enterprises to large companies, by providing leadership, guidance, and a strong voice in national labor discussions. As we leave this press conference today, let us remember that shaping the future of work is not a task for tomorrow. It begins now. It begins with the decisions we make today, the partnership we form, and the actions we take to build a labor market that leaves no one behind. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Minister Kofobe, for the statement from the Employers Federation. From them, you're still with the Minister of Employment, Labor and Security press conference where we organize the social partner. Now for call on the Secretary General from the Sierra Labor Congress, Mr. Max Kikonte, for making a statement.
Thank you. You allow me for tonight, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And the Sierra Labor Congress one for giving special thanks on behalf of workers of this country to the minister, a minister of the difference. Consider himself as the command. And as the first speaker said, these are the first time in the history of this country we get such a forum for discuss the issue about workers, the future of this country. And I believe say, where would they write about the success of Utudepa? The name will be number one about the success. The Sierra Labor Congress convinced that we not get other time like this to discuss about the thing when they talk about shaping the future of work. Because we say don't they raise them to government in terms of what to get for do. Right now, when they so within Apnaya, when they broadcast with as a result of new innovation. All man they see all over the world, and new innovation. I remember then olden days, if you want to talk to a family, they pass to go Seratel. But these days, they didn't na Kubola. You talk all over the world. That they tell you the difference when they take place. And if we not catch up, it will be a disaster for this country. Especially when they get a growing population. So now for that we support this thing as well. We'll not begin the discussion, not to the end though. Maybe this conference will born another conference. We will be specific in terms of the way we shape we said or carry on about the future of work in this country. To me, there is massive unemployment or underemployment because when you talk about employment, it means it possible not do nothing to nothing. Or at least people will do something because normally people then feel say we get employer-employee relationship nine initially employed. Not necessarily. Beaucoup people in the we not get employer-employee relationship with the employed. So they did the majority self with the day pandemic. So now for that we gladly we dey go discuss at the first speaker say we dey go talk about issues where the mona una ukmande generally. One for get answers from government. And that be because we respect what they call ILO Convention 144, where they talk about social dialogue with government or rectify. So we got a problem for sitting on a table and discuss. So one for factor in this country, because we know when people like you say they may really go Congress. However, we got for sitting on a table for discuss. So now the first step down we go sit down, employer, worker, government. That's a very good way in that party for local sit down. And I want to tell the minister, thank you for that. It cannot to we May Day, International Workers' Day. We don't begin commemorating in this country from 2016. We know they follow we. And each year we commemorate. But this year now of a difference. We get activity before the May Day. Why we they commemorate May Day? We get to think about what we don't achieve, what in our struggle, what in our challenges. We don't achieve a lot, but we still get much for do. And I believe say something question will raise about what we get for do. So generally we get for talk about anything and they are not going to talk to the talk during the meeting. But the 29 activity go climax on the 1st of May. Because they will get for talk all things in respect. So we're not going to find two self with statement. Which statement will come after the 29 which will get today. Now we will get for Gokunani to workers of this country about what you achieve and what you want for our government do for we. So I want to tell the organizers, the ministry, the winner partners for involved with, and I hope say this not will be the last. And as I say no more, to me I think say more activity will come because the future of work that you will need for do and a daily activity so that we will include them all the activity and educational programs. But the one day no will be sufficient for all activity. So I tell everybody, thank you. I never tell me boss Naya, the employer. Because if the employer not provide job, we know they will come out organize. So I want to tell them also thank you. But they will take care of workers in this country. As the brother say, this conference get for recognize people there. But they do very well in terms of we get very good employer there. We get also very, very, very bad employer there. Very bad. And very shortly we will begin call them to order. We will make them public. We will call them. Where then they exploit people in this country. Massive exploitation. Whether they respect labor law, they don't care, we will call them to order. And we will call them publicly in terms of what they do. So I tell you, thank you. You want to give me this time for talk.
Thank you very much, Brother Max, for your statement from the Swahili Labour Congress. We want to acknowledge the 16 demonstration of the broadcast across the country, also SLBC TV Live inside Makeni. On our all plenty. Well, we want to call the visionary himself, not less a person, but the Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security. Before I call him just 2 years ago, we attend one program in Saudi Arabia, one at the Global Labour Market Conference. And just when we come back, the minister asked me a very big question: is it possible for them to do exactly what's in Saudi Arabia? And we say yes. From that very day, they will hold on the vision for one more time to organize what we call the National Labour Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Minister Mohammed Bin Swahili.
Family on the morning. I'm glad for there this morning. I want for tell my colleague there on the high table plenty thank you. All make time for there. This is now the beginning of a very exciting journey. You know, I want for commend my colleagues then from the Ministry of Employment, Labour and Social Security. We don't run away with this vision. You know, excited. We have been able to build a coalition of willing at the ministry and drive this project. Our hotel will plenty thank you. So my colleague then, Mr. Max Contet, Mr. Kukubi, Una, na the doing of this sector. Yeah, so. Am I interested to note that the Secretary General of the Labour Congress done in this career path for the last 35 years and counting. So in we come at the business here, passionate about it, very emotionally committed to the here. So I always try for be a diplomat in the top when I see the trade union business and pop up at some point. You know. But this is a partnership we value very much. His Excellency President Julius Madabio, we appoint me in 2023, tell me say you always get passion for this role. So I want to go out there and make a difference. I mean, I treat those challenges very, very seriously. Yeah. I see Bokupu in the seminar, I'm going to a dead ministry. Well, that's why I like it. I like to awaken dead ministries. You know my story from the Ministry of Information. So I like it. This is a challenge I enjoy and I thrive on because I'm able for, mobilize, a willing coalition law deliver together. This year, like what my colleagues say, we go Saudi, we see this. I said, look, this is a great idea, but not to copycat because still they don't add now. If the Saudi then say can annex there, then say we can pick and go. For example, the preface we want with the social dialogue session, yeah, or they bring employers, organized labor and government together. Key major employers there for the room, Then say we must get concerns then. Would able make them not expand businesses? Would able make them not employ more unions? Or they're not able to increase wages? So one for listen. On the government side, we can't forget the man there the key decisions. For example, would they affect taxation? Would they affect electricity and water? Yeah, social security, all the key partners get for the room. This is going to be a very frank conversation. At the end of the day, would they reach would all get a collective roadmap for addressing anything that we will make, we will get more investment in there, address binding constraints there, make let them able employ more people there, and where it's possible, let them increase salaries and pay more taxes. So this is a very interesting meeting. We still have talk about that, I may not be able to talk about that. Because in we begin talk about Yanuma, we don't married now, so we're not the land for Yanuma. We know the land and but if young people then I think that was a good landing for you. No, do that. We don't forget now. Because it's been 20 odd years since I said yes I do. So the one very important. But even of more importance, now the fact say we want to use this opportunity for telling them boku things will they happen now the ministry as well. Yeah, they don't touch on something. When I know say currently NASIT, for example, they only cover about 9% of people in the formal sector. So if something happens to you now, how do you manage it? You get a workplace accident, for example. You die. Because we all will die someday, not so? What happens to your survivors? All the issues and so under the ministry, the social security, they talk about expanding social security for cover the informal sector. Again, you would like to hear that report card, and I think it's a very important thing. Today, I don't have, it's not the people that want for talk today don't talk. Me, they reserve my own talking for the conference. So where this topic been very deliberate towards a just transition in the midst of all these changes around we. We as a country, as a people, we still got to prepare for this. His Excellency he always talk. It's the one reason the dinosaur not there. Like anybody there in this room don't see a dinosaur? Anybody? Yes, they don't go extinct because the dinosaur not able to adapt to changes. They're not be able to remake itself. But cockroach, so even after a major disaster, cockroach earthquake or then nuclear disaster, you see fine cockroach, they can survive and they adapt and they adjust to every situation. So one for prepare we set as Sierra Leoneans then law able to adapt to the new world of work. Things are changing, right? Which is going to require a lot of training on our part, a lot of retraining, a lot of skilling, upskilling, adaptation, and a lot of things for our able for able continue. You know, we have been historian. I remember something that will be say, with the industrial revolution, a machine could now do what 1,000 people can do. You remember that incident there? Yes. But if you want for continue for be relevant, you have to be ahead of it. You know, while we address the local challenges, we will talk. People might like to know a lot of things. We lost them. We'll go for adjust them for able to take care of platform economy, the platform work, digital working, and a lot of things that we call it the non-talk. So this conference is one we really, really important for we as people then as countries. As employers, I explained to Una right now, let them get a forum, a platform. We'll talk about the constraints they'll then get, the challenges there, how government can help them. To employee there, you have an opportunity to network, to hear stories. And this country don't used to too many bad news. We'll get a lot of good news stories. The things we have done in our labor and we'll continue to do. One for share that one day back because it's an opportunity to tell our own story. But the thing is very interesting. Things like mainstreaming women in the workplace. I mean, they tell me Labour Congress people there. I said, look, we're going to make very deliberate actions there for make sure say we implement giving at 30%. So we go for it not happen by accident. Now, very consensuous and deliberate efforts that they lead to that, so that then the power don't do your bit. They enact that into law. They make sure they don't give women 30% elective and appointive positions. Law said do the rest as employers. There might be incentives for all of this. So let's talk about it. Okay. Left at this point. The guys that don't do justice, a lot of justice, all the parties then to this conversation. I don't know why they didn't brought me here. I didn't need to be here. Because I think the man don't talk the issues then. But sometimes Q&A will get something about it. I tell you, thank you.
Thank you very much, the other minister, and now we go on for take few questions. And for that, I will turn over continue my way to the session.
Thank you very much, Director Sine, and again, Honorable Minister, and the tripartite partners. The very first thing I really again say tripartite. Because now tripartite will get, and I found out and actually that the origins of the tripartite.
Yeah, then we'll talk about that.
We gave Minister and the tripartite members gave to introduce the media and only talk about the future of work. The future of the media already also there. Then I have bloggers then, the future of the media, who call the new media and also the traditional partners there. And more so, we link 16 radio stations across the country with each district. So that this district itself, the people that we are to find out the direction of the radio program. But on that note, I know that you like it is something link with the radio station manager there. Just against any questions for ask some questions there and pose them. I will ask for now get the first round of questions from the team. Before I ask questions. Any question? Papa Sharp?
If I want to ask,
now looking at the award ceremony for workers and employees, so with the yardstick, which years they will be taken into consideration in terms of recognizing each workers?
mental health now issue mental health na issue wey dey affect some women. So one from the within the mental issues.
Erica from Hands of Radio. I want to know which are the practical support system them way the ministry will put in place for help young people for transition from job seekers to job creators.
Right.
I want to know from the Ministry of Employment and Labor. We're going to get complaints then from employees about unfair treatment being meted out to them employers. But then the unfortunate part of it is that when they take their complaints, they are going to the Ministry of Employment and Labor. Eventually, then the officials they collude, giving the employers then to make situation for the employers. I want to know how true is that and wherever the officials then it's not a block of such instances.
Yeah. Television. Typically, we don't look at the informal where they work. I mean, there will be people who work at shops and the like. Are they inclusive in this celebration? And another thing is how fairly are we treated in the workplace? We're going to apply to think qualified than this person. But the minimum wage which is 10 for the difference. How best to carry that help us.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I don't see much way directed to Salon Labour Congress, but I see some who connected Salon Labour Congress. Treatment of workers. It's a fact. Our workers, as I say, they don't treat them for a fact. And after that, I can see when you see they create police station, they create hospital, they create Ministry of Labor. That is it. What you see, all the sick go to hospital. We not go stop say no go sick. Equally, we not go stop say problem no go dey go need police. And equally with Ministry of Labor. Ministry of Labor na that institution they charge for try for see how they go resolve conflict between workers and the employer amicably. It go stop? No, it not go stop. It go always happen. And now because we get employer there as I say, because we made we declare this year. That I'm talking now once I say. We write to the minister on the agenda for this year on issues. The one part of the issues that we tackle. Now casualization, even when now they na the president. Right now action now some of them not get implement status. Correct. They're not getting implement status. So let's start from una first. Majority of now they are not getting NACIT. They are not covered by NACIT. They want to get employment relation. Why they talk because me have been key person for the formation of Reporters Union. A while former because there was injustice. We been go on with workers in the landscape of the Libya. So as I say, in terms of bad treatment, we did launch a campaign this year towards non-casualization, contract workers, agency workers, when I listing, people who run agencies in this country. They are the most worst people in this country in terms of employment status. We will call them out, their agency are, as I say. This year we dedicate towards workers, their fairness day. Then they talk about shop workers, they are workers, because they get employment relations. When I talk about minimum wage, there is an ongoing discussion. Because if you know, currently, 800 Leone at the national minimum wage. If you work as a press force, they pay you 800 above, the employer not commit crime. The only thing where you pay go pass down the where you involve in a trade group. Because most of the trade group negotiate in council and get above 800 million. So now for that, I want for encourage you now as reporters in the media, for let una strengthen una union so that they will negotiate now and the minister will give now what they call a bargaining certificate. We will make sure that we now also get good terms and conditions on our sector. I think that is related to Labour Congress.
There was a question on mental health.
Oh, mental health, now issue where we always concerned about. If workman no okay, now for that we get people and minister don't talk. Now one people that to the target. One problem again at this country say, we now they now say now not sabi about the labor laws. And I believe saying for that we not get better question I answer. Because if now understand about the labor law, we now go interrogate you proper now. We now need for learn about the labor law. So one of the activity for this year now for give wider information and sensitization on the labor laws, what are the rights of people. At least when you know you right, it go better. So if workman not get a stable mind at the workplace, the chances for get involved in an accident is great. So we also the concern about that, where they call occupation and health and safety at the workplace. And the person where government give the law for enforcer, now the Minister of Labor. But one thing lacking currently, the law where they define that it don't take for long. We review the last time they review in 1976, 74. Then they review after the colonial master they we review in 1974. Maybe majority of road in about 50% of the born that tell you. Currently now they operate. We tell you say if you get accident, the maximum they can pay you now 140 million. 140 million at that time na big money. So we need for review and force. They will put to play. But I want to tell the minister thank you. I also want to tell the government thank you. I'm proud about that. We get one of the best labor laws in the world. But the problem we get now are the implementation. And we will join as whistleblower. Because for left and to government, don't worry. I can tell you now. So now we get for do the whistleblowing. And we will try for join the government for make sure that the right thing happen. And for let them not exploit workers and then get state of mind for let them work fine.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll go on for throw light on the aspect of the treatment of mental health. We, the Sierra Leone Employers Federation and the Sierra Labor Congress, we work together. We, the employers and the employees, get a lot of understanding. And then the reason why we get the trade group agreements, we will all go to the table every 2 or 3 years for discuss. And why would they do that? Because we want to know what are the issues then where the employees that don't care go to the Labor Congress. Issues then where they affect them at the various places of work. So the only opportunity we will all get, we will meet in the trade group agreement meetings, then the Labor Congress will bring that come to we. They will all go sit down and find the way out of it. It's very difficult for any employer to know the status, the mental status of the person where they employ until he don't go into the employment. In most cases, it's very, very challenging. Well, what they do now as employer is that even before we employ you, they go through some medical checkups. And we trust say, the people that where they do their medical checkup for we, the employers, to highlight to we the thing that would affect the particular employee. Sometimes it's challenging for we as well, because we not likely forget the right information. We're not the only talk about mental health. So many other things in the way employees, where they affect the employees then, we're not good for them at a place of work. So the only people that we depend on for highlighting things to we, for diagnose and make law know that the doctors then will send them to. So the Employers Federation, in collaboration with all we colleagues then at the employment and landscape, they do everything possible, make sure say anybody we employ, we vet them properly, go through medical checkup for see say it fit for work. Thank you.
Thank you. I really like where this lab is what we call brother. I think I did emphasize on the brother. Honorable Minister brother, I'm sorry. That's the part of the appetite.
No, this tripartite at the send them back to them because so this one really important. Tripartism, a ode to the labor movement. You know, we partners and particularly we overall global standard setter when at the International Labour Organization, they lay emphasis on. In fact, when they invite we to any major international forum, then they say una for out una tripartite partners. Then they insist on that one day. Not to say in a person this has been as old as 1948 or length in 1919. So not to say we will begin today from more than begin for the just rights then for May Day, you know, rights of workers and this, that. Another time they begin talk about tripartism. I know then talk na APC SLPP business or the member. You know, it's not about that. It's about bringing in the labor balance. It's about bringing employers, organized labor, and government together for dialogue on critical issues there without recourse to a strike action. So to when I work in the Talk Labor Congress, now because we use the tripartite infrastructure very much, and then they make will not get name plabbered. Last year we go ILO, you remember that the Director General of the International Labour Organization commends Sierra Leone for adherence to the tripartism, because now all go together. We, the Labour Congress, and the employers, the delegation go together. They say in some other countries you have to meet each and every one of them separately, because when they go, they already divided. They need papalaba, they need talk. So that is a good thing coming from Sierra Leone. They commend we for that one day, and then they make one for institutionalize her now as a permanent feature of the Ministry of Labour, of the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, of the Sierra Leone Employers Federation. So that even after I leave the ministry, well, you know, we all serve at His Excellency's pleasure, you know, this thing there will continue because there are viable things to do. Somebody mentioned, say, people then they get a lot of then the disadvantage people with unfair labor practices and sundry other offenses against employees and kind of Ministry of Labor where people they know they collude in some instances. Well, why don't we start with the success stories? So we don't achieve boku thing. We get countless complaints that we don't resolve to the benefit of the employers. You will hear testimonies before and during this whole conversation. We don't resolve in the best interest of employees then industrial labor related disputes then from Rutai to ATS to King Ho, all of them, then waiting there to all over the place. Have there been challenges? Of course. Labor disputes then they all over the place. But we have done very well. Part of the other problem we'll talk about that, but we don't need for this now. We'll talk about that. We don't definitely solve a lot of problems. In fact, when they brief me, the first problem I solve, the day I take over, what the thing they can't brief me the very next day, now industrial issue will be involved Standard Bank. That matter they will team up from very, very strongly, and then people then they end up for get benefits like no other person has had with Standard Bank operating in this country for 195 or so years. So these are all success stories you need to know. Very recently, Crown agents want to close down and give notice. People would have lost their end of service and other benefits. Yeah, because they closed without notice. We fought for them and ensure that everybody got it. Yes, we do have challenges. Yes, we have. Some of them paid, some of them predating, some of them higher. We'll get the seafarers, for example, we say they were never paid end of service benefits. We Eladent that closed in 1986. We are following down. I recently see a call in the British High Commissioner. We get conversation. They don't do insights. So we are pursuing that matter. Yes, we don't say challenges in there. You will still have a few bad apples if the allegation is correct. But majority of the ministry staff there now, they know it's a straight and narrow path. We have to work for the people of Sierra Leone. Now I said, look, nobody know for Canada in tears, in agony. They don't treat them badly. They can't have for make complaint and say let pay transport. You know, the way they will do in other institutions. If you do that in the Ministry of Employment and Labor, that complaint they reach me, you know you're going to face consequences because we will pay for serve. But more importantly, we have to reduce the amount of what can they the first meeting I say, look, oh, we wait for union. I said, no, we're not waiting for union. Now, yeah, we got to make sure so we are going to the source of the problem. I don't want a barricaded office, whole day, people that hold placard, hold this, that. That is why I go around. So solve the problem at the very root of it. Have we been able to solve all? No. This problem is then created from the start of times. Yeah? But we will solve them. We are committed. We will resolve as many as we are able to solve. Because there is a lot of goodwill. His Excellency tells me, as long as it is in the best interest of our people, it's a social justice issue, you have my fullest support. And that is why I don't look back once I go ahead for solving. Minimum wage. My colleague don't answer them. We all know so that's quite a challenging issue. The minimum wage cannot meet the basic necessities of anybody now. We are aware of that. These times are hard. These are challenging moments. We're also aware, say, things are difficult for employers because of doing business and the global economic, near economic meltdown. All of them challenges, and we don't weigh there. We still the talk. We're in the Joint National Negotiating Board for agree a fair minimum wage. So probably you never know. That's one reason you have to come to the conference. Come to the conference. You hear an official announcement on that. The other bit. Okay, you don't answer the informal sector too. So somebody to talk about if we get any arrangement there for support young people there for transition from being job seekers to employers or something. Yeah. The job creator. I think they're very pertinent in that. Now, one of the reasons that we for Canada this conference, Mr. Silage can talk about the eligibility criteria, who should attend the conference. But I think this is a very important thing. But just for doing a quick insight, within the process for officially launch a national volunteering program. Volunteering, a job pathway, a career pathway for many around the globe. Last time I checked the volunteering website, only a few Sierra Leoneans ended it. We compare to other countries. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about apprenticeship schemes. We're going to talk about mentorship on a very national scale. We're going to talk about everything. So I want to encourage you now, come to the conference. Because that is where you know clear, practical health and safety issues. My colleague don't mention, we got the Health and Safety Bill 2025, Parliament right now, because it old, past most of them. I think the last one in 1974. Yeah, in fact, the Factories Act, they call that, right? Factories Act. So most no more now. 1974. It's a few years older than. I'm a few years older than it. So yes, but I mean that's the kind of thing I like to do. When I was in the ministry, I tackled the ones that were older than me, including Part 5, the 1965 Public Order Act. Not so. So this one are old parts and small. So this makes it a bit easier. But in Parliament, we should start the journey hopefully next week. As soon as we've done this one, none for settle in on. And for that reason, I want for recognize my predecessor, Mr. Alpha Timbo, and the tripartite partners, then putting a lot of work getting there. So I'm building up from that. The government is continuity. And I want to be giving my flowers to even when I'm not there. Sierra Leoneans hardly do that, not so? Yeah. I want to make like say 9 beginner. Doesn't happen like that. So mental health, government very, very concerned. I understand many of we go sit down yourself. It's about 80-90% of Sierra Leoneans will get one mental health issue or the other. Dr. Naim said they talk. So when the president comes, they don't set up a unit, for take action on mental health issues, particularly in the workplace. That committee don't meet, a broad-based thing, who represented the other people that need it. So mental health is something we government treat very seriously, and this might be early days, but a lot of steps are now being taken. It will be a legislation. I'm sure it will lead to that eventually. And like my brother talked, some of the trade group agreements are all the enter, not just mental health, health generally. Again, some of them trade group agreements, they work underground. A mining company, for example, every 3 months they're supposed to check you or see if you don't get, a workplace related illness, right? If you get an opportunity for early detection and treatment. Some of them know they do it, but like my colleagues say, we will come very big on this one going forward. The problems are overwhelming at the Ministry of Employment and Labor, because now a deluge of problems. And some of them dating beyond independence. So you don't expect us all to do it, and the ministry get your own challenge with staff and the usual resources. And everyone will talk about, but allocation. That's why we think creatively for get resources for this. And finally, I want to let Mr. Silla talk about this bit. Who and who do we expect to be at this conference? Because I think it's important to really ask something we criteria for the awards and whether they would expect for the next conference. Yeah. Then you can talk about it.
Thank you very much for the question, sir. We set up a committee because we got a lot. Set up a tripartite committee. Tripartite because committee, we will say the ministry, employees federations, the labor congress, and players.
So tripartite plus.
Tripartite plus. Yeah. Then identify people who didn't think say to get award, we deserve to get award. So they nominate them person. So institutions and then come up with a trash because we get issues. This committee and I decide this committee is supposed to be award nomination committee. And the final list we then come up with, submit them to the public for voting. The public votes at statistics the whole data. Because if the ministry say you want to go digital, you have to speak with data and data digital. And during the award ceremony, we publish the data and then people see process, we explain to people how come about. So we look at from labor perspective. For example, we say merit award to healthcare institution of the year. We not say we not to experts in health, but we take the labor perspective because there's labor perspective to every walk of life, whether in the educational system, whether in the health, whether in mining, whether in agriculture, look at labor perspective, how the companies apply, how they meet standards, labor standards, occupational health and safety, the involvement of women at the place. How do we make sure see the Giving Act and take them to heart? Because we all know we're going to place more of ladies, more of men that dominate work empowerment. That's an institution which you don't do to make sure see which is divide inequalities. So we set series of criteria, and based on the criteria and the recommendations, then we present them to the public for voting. The ministry know some of the establishment they have. But we decide to say no, we know the regulation because one way or the other will be biased. And people will not go say, this is fair, because now we choose. So we allow the public for any their opinion, waiting anything, and then we don't get to resolution number one. So if we ask for criteria, we look from labor perspective. So every sector we identify. Then we get another category, we call special category. That one day we not publish them for the people for votes. The one day we use standing, we use position based on which we nobody. Then we identify them. The people who we recognize to the individuals, the institutions among that special category. Then they will not allow the people for vote. Because if you say let people vote, some are not serving them people for all the lifetime. We lot for promote labor. For me, the established institution, number of people that we do employ, or women that we don't carry to board, you're not going to know like small corner because you know the labor sector. But we know. So we therefore unpick institutions and people who think actually they deserve recognition. So that can be special. So the year we do that. Since I started the premium year at 2024. also look at past year for them beyond 2024. But actually, we peg up to 2024 because it's that. So like 2026, we do award now for 2025, and only from January to December we get for the awards. So for now, we get for the premium year and 2024, I will look for beyond not too particular. Yeah. 2024 and the year. So I think say and then waiting on the system will be put in place. These are the beginning of the systems will be put in place. Because we need the discussions here as we going forward. This is inform we all as to waiting for going forward. Then we get things right.
Thank you very much, Sila. We'll take another round. Look at the last round. We'll take 5 questions then. Like again. Last round.
No more questions.
We ask this question on behalf of the viewers and online, especially the one they're waiting, the Honorable Minister page. This one they ask when Asamachiri, he said, Honorable Minister, how you intend for enforce the labor laws then where they don't pass? He say, if you get a backup plan, like one way will make sure say all team of business operations go up for company them, and as well workman them they will get the benefits. He said that in case people don't want to comply, if one way will make sure say then company they have pack up and left the country because they're not agree for comply with the labor law. Right. The whole question labor law, Honorable Minister,
You name any
just jungle and at the board for having a deal. So this is the first time we get a conference like this. A lengthy one for that matter, we do so many but beyond the conference, I want to know get any plan for like get an annual meeting inside employees and assembly for unions and meet for discuss the progress, especially when I go for getting resolutions out of this conference, or know how far we don't go except job opportunities in workplace. And as a worker again, during the conference, I also want to see inside when I discuss accessibility to workplaces for people living with disabilities. Those are some of the issues I really work for. Thank you.
Thank you, Khadija. I think Hamza, name it off.
Leone Jackson, the democracy. The theme for the conference is shaping the future of work. Question is, how well do you position and partner them to ensure that this national conference will change the workforce in terms of meeting the 21st century demand?
Thank you, Adeyemi.
Afternoon. I'm the Burma. I'm the president. I'm going to ask the question last time. I think you already answered. So I have 2 questions. First one is, how does the team shaping the future of work align with the current realities in Australia? The second one is, what are the key outcomes of policy changes you hope to see emerge from this conference?
Last question.
Because I mean, Dennis is multiple national broadcast and I'm very much happy that this emphasize each particular one go on because we don't see from the past how we see that we are media people, but when it comes to labor issues, some of we continue with media links and we become passionate about that because we are safe. But under the aspect leadership of ex-wife minister, Timbo and that of the minister as well. One thing I don't see that the minister that before now we used to know the labor congress, almost the interplay with the functions of the minister, but we don't see that incident. In fact, looking at the track record of Minister Swahili when it comes to an issue, on one side using the labor laws we don't put more opinion into So we already this is a commitment, fully commitment for actions that we taken. But the question I have to ask you is the for me with condition of service. And so I have to turn over to Mr. Kokobaye or Kokobe, and the name that is right. And the employers' federation over time. I want to ask putting the synergy inside this tripartite arrangement because quite recently we see a major incident with the ops, if not for action of the ministry and tripartite members. We will not get to some ways of
Thank you.
It's for you limited start. We want to look at the synergy based on the woman because potentially it escalates because maybe sometimes you might be delayed or guess or not advantage people beyond the control of labor congress or that of people.
Thank you. So that's the last question.
Hello for computer question is most of us have seen this stories, right? So in order to ensure more people can get how the ministers, what the ministers set in order to get
Thank you. That's the last question for today. I will now pass the mic again to Brother Max. Start for response.
Thank you very much. Well, I'll just talk generally. Enforcement of labor laws. Sidonaya. Tinapnaya. Me road to the trade union movement emanate from injustice. I've been summarily dismissed as a result of the activism to ensure justice that will place. So when you talk about first-hand action, where they get perpetrated for worker, then I want they get talk and sufferer. So I'm very passionate for faith, for the cause of workers. Amidst that faith day, we do in a civil manner. And for that, now observe, minister could attest to that. We don't begin to talk about minimum wage from last year. The minister don't tell us, say maybe during the conference we hear something. There are many things happening because we, as soon as say, now we get the oldest, no structure, nothing at the wall. We get the kind of unique tripartite nature we get. Because believe say if we operate separately, the nation state no go dey together. Some of us study history and know about the First World War, emanate as a result of bad conditions of service. And then related to the foundation of the International Labour Organization after the end of the First World War. They created in 1919. We talk say poverty anywhere is danger to posterity. So we passionate about enforcement of laws. As I've been saying just now, if we be enforced, there will still be problem. So with the child beat, with the do in a dialogue manner, and sometimes they say Labour Congress when they talk about in games. Yes. Well, I don't know some of we because of training, I mean I be trainer, I mean I be educator. As a Labour Congress before I can at this position. So we know what it mean about the gains we achieve during the negotiation table. You know the bluff about them. So now mutual one. Once remember the benefit. And I want to tell not only this minister, thank you, but previous minister, they always be work with you hand in hand. Because we not three ports. If one side broke on the port, you know easy. So we get equal power in the landscape of labor. So one way we go make force for enforce the labor law. Now for everybody in this country understand what's in a right for the labor law. Now one step that for enforcer. When everybody conscious about the right under the labor law, then easy. Because I can tell you, say, employer then get beaucoup strategy forget their way. Because business is not a charitable organization. It's about profit. And for that, the middleman can, the government, and the tripartite arrangement. Then the pathway and this my brother. Now for that, government are the largest employer. And now that the government say want to create 500,000 jobs so that the private sector will be the largest employer. So that it will the CI go mediate. So we will make sure, as I say, we dedicate this year towards exploitation. We'll tell now, maybe doing the Mayday, with our agenda for make sure that this country here, now a country where people will abide by labor laws. And also, now talk about I think we don't talk about waiting, I talk about the statement that maybe this conference will lead to several other conferences because the one day no go sufficient for address the subject matter. So now for that, as they tell now, even the ILO get for day, when our principal international body. If Minister Soare, you go ILO, you go in a government, don't care we go. Now you should go and they don't allow to go inside the hall.
Correct.
They don't allow. If okay, the employer and the worker, then they get accreditation. So government they take part, undue advantage over we. Not possible. Where we go on that side. So we get equal standing in terms of that. And then go deep on this conference for make sure the conference, if now we call them people's conference. What I mean, workers' conference. Any country will neglect welfare of workers if they neglect in growth. Now for that, government don't create several. Now for that, the world is ever common now. Me and a member of the Wages and Compensation Commission. So we can tell this government thank you for the progressive laws that they have. Maybe what we need for push here now for make sure that not to forget no more paper, na implementation. Because if you get on paper, you know implementer, they go get all thing house, you get pamai, you get rest, you know cooker, then people are not eat. So now the government don't do. So we get very good law there, very good. If the implementer, I can tell you say, workman will work in a very safe situation. So be rest assured, one guarantee all workers who they listening to we. As a Labor Congress, if you get problem, just scan at 35 Wally Johnson Street. We go be the whistleblower on the behalf. We don't handle Boku's problems. People who own foreign workers don't come to we handle the problem. How much more you own as Salonian? Now that's what they for, and Nicky say me always as the Secretary General, me a servant to worker, me na the liberal to the workman. Who am I? So we na strength then they make you strong. So be rest assured, we will handle all matters as long as I can to knowledge. As we speak now, when the minister talk about store laborers. Now see them people who they told now you see them. The press they covered and said that issue there. What they told them cement, they told them arrest them. Now you see the state was saying there. So then we said the press for the go now there they draw the attention of government. If you see there, I can double as the modern day slavery. We go call to order. Then people they do where they and then practice them. As I say, Labour Congress this year will not the blow for make the social justice and workers' right respected. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brother Max Ponte. I will now invite Brother Kokube.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Yema. Well, really, I think so, we are a tripartite. And within this tripartite arrangement, the Labour Congress and the Sierra Employers Federation will work together. And that makes them very unique about we in this country, Salon, for example, because we always get together and with the hand heads for knowing the issues then where the employees then get. Because one thing we very much know is that if we employees are not happy, we don't get what we need from them. So we got to make sure say we employees they're happy. We got to make sure say we employees them they are well taken care of. And then we get the labor laws where government act, not just the umbrella. But so many other things than they, where they come out of the collective agreement, where it emanates from the labor laws. The collective agreement and take issues from the labor laws, then streamline it in a way suitable for the particular sector, because every sector gets its own collective agreement. So as far as conditions of service concerned in this country, what me go say is that I encourage all employers in this country, where they listen to it now or where they at this hall, that may them be in close touch with the Sierra Leone Employers Federation, may them join the federation, may them be members of the federation. Because even as we talk now, we get plans for make sure say we train, we go, we educate all we employers in this country about the labor laws and with the government don't act. Because if you don't know about the labor laws, then you will fall short and then you get issue with Mr. Container. So and we don't want that. We want to always be at peace, because we know any situation where employers and go put employees and go put up placard the strike. That not happen. And they happen because we work together. So as far as conditions of service concerned, a lot is being done towards that, and then the reason why even the labor laws are now being reviewed and enacted. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think you don't answer this question.
Okay, let's go through this. We cannot stay here forever. Okay, how I intend to enforce the labor laws? My brother don't talk about our calm ministry as a look. A lot of work has been done for legislate some of the most progressive laws. Now the important thing is to make sure to enforce. So I have been to every nook and cranny in this country. I talk to Ukman there, I talk to other people there. So we're not able to solve a lot of problems, but a lot more remain. With the continued enforcement action. We don't act. His Excellency don't graciously approve for our recruits, more staff, and then so we'll get boots on the ground everywhere or report instantly, within violations that happen. But more importantly, like Brother Max Conte talk, we not second for speak up. I know say every night put and know they suffer silently, particularly in the media, where you just get an ID card and you go into the world and fend for yourself. Leads to attack, defend, and collect, yellow journalism, and all of that. So, one for encourage the media owners. I'm happy. A lot of transition they also happen at the newspaper space. At the top owner, because now I sit down before me now, but I know say, out there, let this band, let my colleague they don't talk. You also get bad employers, but they encourage them. What's out there now? They will not have an option. Then they go become good employers. Somebody they talk about end of service benefits on another pay. So now the law then again it boils down to enforcement. The law they make provision for the enforcement, the establishment of an IRS 19. So which means every employer forgets an end of service benefit account separate from other accounts. Professor Kwabadena is very passionate about that today, and I make a follow it. So now your business will ensure that every workplace do an actuarial evaluation of what's in their owe every month and set aside so that even when you go broke, they say we're not able to pay. There's money set aside or on a long-term basis. So that one day, that's an enforcement action that we are committed to. My team is fired up. All my man and I will make sure to follow that up. I think it's very important. One big thing about this whole conference, not to set from more. I know say for the tripartite dialogue forum, when at the pre-conference, the Honorable Vice President Dr. Julia Jallo, now in for deliver a keynote address. And the presidency will be represented every inch of the way throughout all this process, just so that you know. Somebody concerned whether we'll get annual meeting of employers, unions, and government for take stock of the progress so far. Yes, I mentioned and say this dialogue session, it is hoped that it will become a permanent feature. We will get every time around the same time, on the 29th. I mean, it might be my idea, it might be the VP's idea, or this person's idea, but it's a good idea, it must stay. It really must stay, Absence of access to workspaces by people living with disabilities, that's a big concern. There is legislation, so every employer will make conscious effort to do this. This remains quite a challenge. Yes, because of all the structure, then what they talk about, they were built long before we enacted disability-friendly laws there. But that is not why we should not endeavor to adapt to the changes here. So yes, that's quite a challenging area, but I'm sure together all we will get them done. The other bit I want to ask, say how the conference going to change the workforce for meet the challenges of the 21st century. Mr. Silana, you get for answer this, yeah? Yeah? I'm donating that to you. How the team they align with the current realities. Yeah? Now you get for do this again. I could do it, but I don't want to monopolize it. Kwedu Holdings, yes, like I say, a whole lot of these problems and then challenges they're very historic. Kwedu Holdings, the one we talk about now since 2016, that challenge they will be up against. But we are talking, a lot of work is going on behind the scenes. But don't use that alone to judge anybody. We have solved countless problems across this country, and this too will be solved. It will not be an exception. And finally, on my part, gender equalities in the workplace, nobody has any reason to continue that. Because already we get very ambitious labor laws that we don't lay them out. Yeah? The Kiwi Act made provision for that. The Overall Employment Act 2023 made a lot of provisions for that. And enforcement actions, 9 will take for make sure that this happens in the workplace. We don't sign and ratify ILO conventions on harassment and violence at work, all incidentally, we will make sure they will implement them. So, but what's important is if you see harassment, you report it. If we harass, you know, reporter, we don't have a magic wand for no. Huh? If you see violence at work, you know, reporter, we don't go no. So we want to challenge you. Even when you feel your labor rights are being abused, they are being trampled upon, your rights to collective bargaining, unionization are not being respected, we're not going to know from where we are. Now you go for speak out. Yeah, when they say the police officer, then the best FBI, this, that, now reported again. Now intelligence led. Some of the places, and I want to tell thank you to some newspapers. They have been great whistleblowers. They don't draw attention to some of them there. Some women, and they have been bold enough. And I've assured them, nobody not going to take reprisal actions against you. If they do, you can be rest assured of government support. Because our laws they will go for enforcement. So on that note, I'll tell you, thank you. Let us allow response to the other. This press conference is ending after he talks, right? Thank you.
Just want to get clarity on the question, sir.
Oh, I thought I could call you. Me go call you.
Okay, this is the theme of the conference, right?
Let me go call you. Let me see how I call you. Yeah.
Okay, so we almost get high unemployment here. This one statistics, and one party thinks away is also that because of the changes that take place at the world of work. There is mismatch. There is mismatch. Okay, there is mismatch, and when we say shaping the future of work, we say we want to realign to the global workforce. Waiting at the changes that will take place and how we will prepare workforce for counter the challenges and therefore fit into the current trends. Yeah, so let me shape the future of work with respect to digitalization, innovation, and just transition.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Brother Max Conte, Brother Kokube, for this conference and for this event for articulate on the issues, and especially against July and like to the media team, we work very hard for this conference together. Colleagues of the court estates will continue conversations after this. I'm sure we continue to engage with her, say the 29, 30, and the 1st of May. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will ask now for the minister and the secretary to take a group picture. And I also invite the